Here now is Faith to Live By with Pastor Barber.
So good to have you joining us for Faith to Live By today. We begin much good music, and the quartet starts us off with We Three Kings.
Of Orient are bearing gifts, we traverse afar, field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star. Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Born a king on Bethlehem's plain, gold I bring to crown him again. King forever, ceasing never, over us all to reign. Frankincense to offer have I, incense owns a deity nigh, prayer and praising, all men raising, worship him, God most high. Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Myrrh is mine, its bitter perfume breathes a life of gathering gloom, sorrowing, sighing, bleeding, dying, sealed in a stone cold tomb. Glorious now, behold him arise, King and God and sacrifice. Hallelujah, hallelujah, earth to heaven replies. Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light.
The Bible has the answer. Indeed, it does. We go to God's holy word in order to do our investigation. Question number 1. In Luke chapter 1, both Zacharias and Mary asked a how question to the angel Gabriel. Why were they treated so differently for their questions? You will recall that in chapter 1, Zacharias, he was told by the angel Gabriel that his wife, though elderly, would bear them a child. They had never had a child in their home, and yet this was about to take place. Zacharias, because of his response, because of his question, was restrained from speaking until the child was born. However, Mary, when she asked her how question, she was simply told that she would be the mother of the Son of God, that she, the child that was conceived within her, would be, in fact, the Son of God. Indeed, two very different two different responses by Gabriel to strike Zacharias mute and to restrain him from being able to speak for many weeks, and Mary to receive a blessing in that hour as well in subsequent days from her cousin Elizabeth. We look to Luke chapter 1 and verse 18. Zacharias said to the angel, "How will I know this, what you have just told me of what is about to take place? How will I know this?" And then the words which are implied, "for certain. For I am an old man, and my wife is advanced in years." The very clear implication is that Zacharias was wanting to have more backing, to have more substantiation to the claim or to the declaration that Gabriel was making to him. And Gabriel presents his credentials saying, "Look, I am Gabriel, and I stand in the presence of God. I have not come to deceive you or to lie to you. I have come to bring truth to you, and as a result of your doubting, this is what is going to take place." Then in verse 34, we read, "Mary said to the angel who had just told her of the wonderful things that are about to happen, Mary said to the angel, 'How can this be, since I am a virgin?'" The question that Mary asks is not one that implies doubt, but rather, what is the mechanism that is going to take place here? I believe what you are telling me is exactly the right truth, but this doesn't work in earthly terms. And the angel goes on to say, "Nothing shall be impossible with God." Question number 2, why does Matthew, in writing his gospel, seem at pains to highlight the words of the Old Testament prophets in the coming of Jesus? As you look to Matthew chapter 1 and the first 3 chapters actually, and as you continue to read through Matthew's gospel, you need to bear in mind that each of the gospel accounts were written to a specific original audience, and Matthew was particularly writing to address the Jews. And so at the outset of his gospel, he gives a chronology a history of Jesus' ancestry, and he goes into very specific detail, tying Jesus to David, declaring that here is the son of royalty. And then Matthew is also at pains. He knew that the Jews would be concerned about, is this in fulfillment of the prophecies which have been made about the coming of Messiah? And you find that 6 times, and it's found in Matthew chapter 1 and verse 22, chapter 2, verse 5, verse 15, verse 17, and verse 23, and then again in chapter 3 and verse 3, we repeatedly have the words given that this specific event took place in order to fulfill the words of Isaiah or Jeremiah or one of the other prophets. 6 times in the first 3 chapters, and thereafter also several times as well. But I especially take you to Matthew chapter 26 and verses 53 to 56. Here we are in the Garden of Gethsemane. Jesus is being arrested and about to be taken for trial and eventually for crucifixion in the coming hours. Jesus speaks to those who have come to arrest him. "Do you not think that I can appeal to my Father, and he will at once put at my disposal more than 12 legions of angels to rescue him? How then will the scriptures be fulfilled if I were to do that, which say that it must happen in this way?" At that time, Jesus said to the crowds, "Have you come out with swords and clubs to arrest me as you would against a robber? Every day I used to sit in the temple teaching, and you did not seize me." And verse 56, most especially, "But all this," Jesus says, "but all this has taken place to fulfill the scriptures of the prophets." Now, Jesus was not simply referring to what was taking place in that moment or that night. Jesus is referring back to his entire earthly existence, which was very quickly drawing to a conclusion, and he would surrender his life into his Father's hands on Calvary's cross. Very quickly, it was all coming to a conclusion, but everything that had taken place in his life had the imprint of fulfilling the ancient prophets' words that Jesus, the Messiah, would come, and that this was the life. And so Matthew, he is presenting to us, he is giving to us every word that would bolster the account in the ears of the Jews of that day. And of course, we do well to dig into the scriptures and to see that Jesus did in fact come in fulfillment of the prophet's words. If you have a question, send it to us. We will use it on The Bible Has the Answer as quickly as we are able. Our mailing address is Faith to Live By, Box 426, Winnipeg, Manitoba, R3C 2H6. Heidi, Dorothy, Jan sing "There's a Song in the Air," and that is followed by Matt Bowring singing "Mary's Boy Child."
There's a song in the air, there's a star in the sky, there's a mother's deep prayer and a baby's low cry, and the star reigns its fire while the beautiful sing, for the manger of Bethlehem cradles a king. There's a tumult of joy o'er the wonderful birth, for the virgin sweet boy is the Lord of the earth. The star reigns its fire while the beautiful sing, for the manger of Bethlehem cradles a king. We rejoice in the light, and we echo the song that comes down through the night from the heavenly throne. We shout to the lovely evangel they bring, and we greet in his cradle our Savior and King.
Long time ago in Bethlehem, so the Holy Bible say, Mary's boy child Jesus Christ was born on Christmas Day. Hark now, hear the angels say, new King born today, and man will live forevermore because of Christmas Day. While shepherds watched their flocks by night, they saw a bright new shining star.
our favorite hymns, 17 of the great gospel hymns we have recorded, and we have put them onto this CD. And in addition to the CD, we have prepared a lovely book because many of you may not know the favorite hymns that we enjoy. You have favorite hymns of your own, and this book has the words to the hymns that are included in this recording so that you might sing along should you be unfamiliar with them. We're happy to send this to you free and postage paid. That is, we simply ask that you request it and it will be on its way to you. Our favorite hymns, 17 of them. There's surely a lot more that we could add to it, but this is a starting point. Ask for your copy of this new CD, complete with the booklet, when you write this week to Faith to Live By, Box 426, Winnipeg, Manitoba, R3C 2H6. Or you can call us toll-free, 1-833-367-3852. Also, our website, faithtoliveby.ca, has a means of you either requesting a copy to be sent to you, or you can immediately download the audio files there. And again, all of this is provided at no charge whatsoever. Just before the message, the full group sings Angels from the Realms of Glory, and that is followed by the male quartet singing once again, Go, Tell It on the Mountain.
Angels from the realms of glory, wing your flight o'er all the earth. He who sang creation's story, now proclaim Messiah's birth. Come and worship, worship Christ the newborn King. Shepherds in the fields abiding, watching o'er your flocks by night. God with man is now residing, yonder shines the infant light. Come and worship, worship Christ the newborn King. Saints before the altar bending, watching long in hope and fear. Silently the Lord descending, in his temple shall appear. Come and worship, worship Christ the newborn King. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Go tell it on the mountain. Shepherds feared and trembled when low above the earth rang out the angel chorus that hailed our Savior's birth. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Go tell it on the mountain. Down in a lowly manger, the humble Christ was born, and God sent us salvation that blessed Christmas morn. So go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. So go tell mountain.
After long centuries, Jesus came. The Messiah, the Son of God, the Anointed One, the Christ. He was here. Mary was the first one to hear of the announcement, and it caused joy in her heart. Mary then goes to visit her cousin Elizabeth, and here we are thinking in Luke chapters 1 and 2. Elizabeth is also filled with joy, so much so that the baby which was already in her womb, John the Baptist, leaped for joy at the sound of Mary's greeting as she entered the house. Then, as Jesus is born in Bethlehem, we read of this in Luke chapter 2. Shepherds gather in from the fields, having been told by the angels there in the middle of the night of what was taking place. They come and they go back, filled with joy that God had done such wonderful things. Mary and Joseph bring the baby Jesus to the temple for him to be blessed there. And we read about a man named Simeon and a woman by the name of Anna, who also come and speak of the greatness of this child, and they speak of the glory of God. Later on, the Magi, and here we are reading in Matthew chapter 2, we read of the Magi who come by way of Jerusalem, expecting that such a mighty one would be born in the most palatial surroundings. They come to Herod's palace. They knock on the door and they are told, no, it is in Bethlehem that you need to search. They go and they see that star which had guided them on their way, and once again, joy permeates, it fills, it floods into their hearts as they go. They find the child and they worship, presenting their gifts. I would want to ask you, what fills your heart when you consider the news that Jesus Christ was born in Bethlehem? Is it, oh, I've heard that news before, thank you very much, but I have other things to do? Or does it cause you to pause in the busyness of whatever else you might do, in the preoccupation of life, and consider that God has done great things for us, that God had promised He would act on our behalf in our desperate need, and that God has fulfilled His word at the perfect time, according to His plan, according to His divine clock and timetable, not according to our own wishes and desires. After long years, centuries of promise, Jesus came to be born in Bethlehem. Why this joy? It is because the old sin debt was being dealt with. Something that no one else could possibly deal with was being addressed by God Himself. The wall of partition, the wall of separation, the wall that kept us away from God ever since the Garden of Eden, it was being dealt with because a perfect lamb was about to be presented. That lamb was Jesus. We think how tender that scene in Bethlehem, and how many tender scenes there would be in the succeeding years. But Jesus, He came specifically to die. He came as that sacrifice. We don't like to think of sacrifice at Christmas time. We like to push that away to Good Friday and to Holy Week. But Jesus, He left heaven's glories, not just to teach, not just to heal, not just to comfort, not just to gather around Him a group of disciples, not just to preach to multitudes. He came specifically to die, and He came to die for you. You were under the condemnation of death, but the love of God reached out to you and said, I will give Jesus in your place. Have you come to trust in this one who has loved you, who has cared for you, who has given so much for you, I would bid that you would come and that you would bow and that you would surrender your life. That is not too much. Surrender your life and to live for Him who died for you. And may each and every day, may you give praise and honor and glory to the one who has done such wonders for you.
Though millions have come, there's still room for one. Yes, there's room at the cross for you.
Thank you for joining Pastor Barber today. Please watch for Faith to Live By again next Sunday at this same time on this same station. Until then, Faith to Live By prays that the peace of God will fill your heart and that the joy of the Lord will be your strength. Pastor Barber would love to hear from you. The mailing address is Faith to Live By, Box 426, Winnipeg, Manitoba, R3C 2H6.